Hey everybody, JTISREBORN here, and welcome to another edition of my Batman the Animated Series reviews. This time we're going to be taking a look at episode number 61, The Demon's Quest Part 2. Man, after watching this part, this might be my favorite two-parter now, or maybe not. I don't know. It's too tough to decide. I'm having so much difficulty choosing these episodes, because Robin's Reckoning has just been like, oh yeah, Robin's Reckoning, that's my favorite. But like going back and rewatching episodes like this, and like Almost Got Him, I'm like, man, is it really my favorite? I love it so much, but like, man, it's so tough. And when I'm watching Almost Got Him or something like this, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite. No, this is my favorite, but it's just really tough to choose. But anyways, this episode's part 2 of the Demon's Quest. It picks up where the last one left off, with Ra's al Ghul like ready to throw Talia into the Lazarus Pit. You know, Batman stops him, and he's like, thanks, detective. I'm giving you one more chance. Since you saved my daughter's life, I'm going to give you one more chance. And he's like, offers still no. You could wed my daughter in that. And then Talia's like, ooh, you can wed me anytime, Bruce. Ooh. And then he's like, the answer is still no. And then all of a sudden, Bruce is just like, Rach is like, fine, kill them. And then they're just like, wait, why do you want to kill him? She's like, Father, no. He's like, they know too many of our secrets. So they try to kill him. They eventually escape. Then they locate their desert stronghold. Batman sneaks onto like one of the horses and stuff to infiltrate the stronghold. And then Ra's al Ghul's men capture him, and then they're like, be sure he doesn't have any more tricks up his sleeve. And they all rip his shirt, and then they throw him in jail before Talia gives him a kiss. And then I'm like, Jesus, they just rip his clothes right off, but they don't take his mask because it's like Ra's does it as a sign of respect. So, anyways, Batman is thrown into the little jail. Ra's tells him his plan. He plans to drop bombs in the Lazarus Pits, which will kill like 2 billion, like all around the world, which link up with the satellite Orpheus, and then all those satellites will like create like a signal that'll cause a massive like explosion in all the Lazarus Pits, which will like do some damage, kill billions of people, that old thing. But yeah, so that's in essence Ra's al Ghul's plan. And then, Batman eventually, tries to stop him. He escapes his, little prison. He gets into a sword fight with Ra's. And this episode kind of feels like a swashbuckling adventure. So Batman, he throws his sword, he destroys the satellite hookup, and then thus thwarting Ra's plan. And then Ra's tries to, attack him, but Batman bests him in combat. Ra's trips over and falls into the pit, but he grabs onto a sword. Batman tries to help him up. But, Ra's is just like, you've bested me, detective. I think it's time I, join the Earth that I love so much. So he lets go and he falls into the pit, smiling. And then that seemingly is the end of Ra's al Ghul. And Talia, she's crying, she's upset. Batman tried to save him, and he was offering his hand, but Ra's didn't want to accept it. And then, so, Ra's is defeated. Talia's like, I share my father's vision and his cause, but not his methods. You understand this, right? And he's like, of course I do. She's like, so what becomes of me? Do I become a prisoner or anything? And then Batman just turns around, just passionately kisses her in front of the sunset. So it's a real, romantic image. And then that's, pretty much the last we see of Talia in this episode. And then Batman flies away. Talia is still with her friends. I always kind of wondered, there's... And then that's the end of the episode, although there's, one last thing where Robin's just like, is this the last we've seen of Ra's al Ghul? And then Batman's like, I don't know, maybe it isn't. So, basically, Ra's, you see his hand kind of step out of the pit, reach out of the pit, and he starts laughing maniacally, and he's like, ha 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 ha. So, and then that's kind of the end of it. For him to be, saved later on in the series. I thought that, we get more Ra's al Ghul episodes, but, this one, this is definitely, if I remember, this is probably the best. I don't know. We'll see. I have to, rewatch the other ones, and then there's crossover episodes with Superman, the animated series. But anyways, Ra's al Ghul is voiced by this guy named David Warner. That voice is really distinguished, and he's definitely one of the best performers in, the entire, animated series lineup. I think, favorite voice is, well, in terms of villains, number 1 voice is Mark Hamill's Joker. Number 2 is probably Two-Face, and then 3 is Ra's al Ghul in terms of voice or voiceover work. So, that Ra's al Ghul detective, this is my definitive favorite Ra's al Ghul take right here. But yeah, so this episode's really good. This two-parter is just really good. It feels like I said, a swashbuckling adventure. Like, Batman and him are sword fighting, and I'm just like, man, I feel like I'm stuck in like some like adventure pirate movie or something like that. I mean, it's a fun time. I'm definitely having a really good time with this episode. And some things make me wonder, like, what if Batman made different decisions? Like, I mean, Ra's al Ghul only inflicted his plan to, like, bomb everything at once because Batman didn't accept his, like, offer. What if Batman did? Couldn't he, like, realistically just kind of dismantle, like, the League then and there? Or would Ra's have to, like, oversee his process for a while? Like, what if Batman just right then and there is like, okay, instead of blowing up the Earth or whatever, I'll accept your offer. Just don't kill all these people. I'll find a different way. Please, you have to believe me. What if he just accepted it right then and there? Like, how would things like be? What would happen? Like, what are the outcome? What's the outcome of all of this? Like, what does it all mean? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it creates like an interesting situation with this episode. Like, what if he accepted it and stuff? Would he have married Talia? Would they have had their son Damien? Well, then again, this is like before they introduced him into the comic books. So, but like it just like makes me wonder like what would have happened if Batman made a few different outcomes. Like, what if he accepted Ra's offer to lead the League of Assassins or League of Shadows or what do they call them? The Society of Shadows? I think that's what it is. Whatever it is in the show, like it just makes me curious. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I definitely enjoyed this episode. I really like this two-parter. I think the second part's actually even stronger than the first part. The first part's kind of like a mystery build-up, and then like I think for the first time, really, like this is like the first time in like the show, like one of the two-part. Well, no, I think there's some better. I mean, this is like the first two-parter. That's like both parts are extremely solid, and the second part just edges it out. Because there's some other two-parters where I'm just like, yeah, that was fine, but I don't think it really needed to be two parts. This one definitely like felt almost like a mini movie adventure. So yeah, but I love Ra's al Ghul. Definitely one of the best Batman villains in the show. And yeah, I definitely love this episode. I look forward to seeing more with Ra's and more with Talia too, because like I think this episode does a really good job with Talia's character. I kind of always saw her more as kind of like a conflicted like anti-hero per se. I know like in like Batman Bad Blood they portray her kind of as more of a like a straight up bitch, like a villain, straight up, like, you know what I mean? Like here she's kind of like, I kind of like this take, but I also kind of like her a little bit more conflicted. Where she's more of a tweener, kind of an anti-hero like Catwoman. I don't really like her where she's just full-blown psychotic, per se. I like her better when she's kind of like conflicted and she's really like making a turn, like in some like comic books and stuff she's been in, or like this show where she's just like, she definitely like loves, Batman / Bruce Wayne. Like, that's her beloved or whatever. Although, like, I still like, in this episode, just like, because they didn't have as many, like, adventures together, I think what they should have done, probably had, like, one or two more episodes with Bruce and Talia before they did this one, to where I could believe that statement. My daughter loves you. I'm like, loves it? You've spent, like, a few hours with him. Really? Even then, I'm just kind of, like, snickering about it. But, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say for this episode. But, yeah, definitely a really, really good two-part episode. Yeah, holy shit. I recorded so many episodes today, like, fuck, this is like the 16th video, like, episode I've watched today, and I've recorded straight through. That's why they're all kind of, like, going to be released at once. Wow, I'm kind of, like, tired at this point, like, I feel like I've been running a marathon, of Batman the Animated Series, which is great. I mean, yeah, it's awesome. So, anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Be sure to come back next time as I take a look at episode number 62, called His Silicone Soul, which is, like, the third in, like, the Hard Act trilogy. Which is weird, because, like, they aired that episode, like, as episode 43, but production order was, like, number 62. When I'm like, man, like... So, like, in terms of, like, air date, this one aired earlier than the production date. I don't know, it's weird, like... Why even, like, on the DVDs, why list them in their production order when you can just list them in their release date? I probably would have accepted that a bit more. But, like, it's just because of this, like, airing order and, like, production order. Like, I mean, I just watched the episodes in terms of production order. I've never really watched them in terms of air date order. So, but, yeah. Anyways, I think I've said enough, right? Yeah, this video's gone on for almost 10 minutes. I've been talking so much today, just trying to get all these, like, videos out and done. Some of them are longer than others. I think it's just more of the episodes I'm kind of like, more interested in at the time. The Hard X stuff, I'm not quite as interested in as much as like this Ra's al Ghul stuff. But yeah, so next episode we're going to talk about, it's going to be his Silicon Soul. Then after that it's Fire from Olympus with Maxi Zeus. So that should be a lot of fun. But once again, I want to thank everybody for sitting down and watching these videos. More like listening, because these are more like audio format. Be sure to comment below. Let me know what you thought of part 2 of this episode. Let me know what you thought of part 1 as well. What do you think of Ra's al Ghul as a villain? What do you think of Talia al Ghul as a villain? And as I said in the off-balance thing, what do you think would have happened if they had access to the comic books of today where Bruce and Talia had a kid? Would they have changed the relationship in Batman the Animated Series? Would it have been, the same deal? I'm always kind of curious of, like, what if scenarios. What if this material was available to them? Would things have changed? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say there. Probably repeated myself like 8 to 10 times by now. But, yeah. Comment, like, subscribe. Watch for more Batman the Animated Series stuff. Once I finish reviewing all these episodes, I think after Volume 3, I'll do a review on the series, and I'll then go into the new Batman Adventures, which is really a separate series altogether. So, yeah. Okay. Once again, thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. See you next time.